Everyone, welcome to the Parks Development Update held at the PARB meeting the fourth Wednesday of every single month. Today, we are joined by Adam Moore, our Parks Development Coordinator, who's going to give us a brief update. These updates are recorded and available on the city's YouTube channel. Brief minutes are in our PARB monthly packets, but for detailed information, please watch the update on our YouTube channel. And with that, I'm going to pass it right over to Adam.
Hi, everybody. So sorry I wasn't here last month. There's this thing going around the world that I finally tested positive for, so couldn't be here. But I think that Natalie gave you some updates and shared with you some information on our event at Scott Park in May. It turned out to be a terrific event with 199 people that signed in. I know that there were several that did not sign in. We ran out of food twice. Some details that came out of that meeting can be seen in the council update that I gave, which Natalie shared in your packets. Hopefully you've had a chance to watch that. In the time since that council update, I just want to let you all know, most importantly, the next round of engagement that we're doing on this project is happening starting with Belfour Park Wednesday, July 20th at 6 p.m. in the park. This is a drop-in open house style event. Come on in and grab some dinner and talk with us about the existing 2015 park that park plan that NCPRD did. Then the very next week, we will be at Bowman Bray Park. That's going to be Tuesday, July 26th at 6 p.m. We'll be there till 8 o'clock as well. And then the very next week after that, we'll be talking about Scott Park. That will be on Thursday, August 4th. Details on this one are still being worked out. I hope to have some more information on this Friday or Monday, and I will share that with all of you as soon as I have it. These dates are slightly different. It's the same weeks, but it's slightly different than what I discussed with council. So with council, I only had tentative dates, and due to different availabilities, these dates had to change. So July 20th at Belfour at 6 p.m., July 26th at Bowman Bray at 6 p.m., August 4th to be determined, talking about Scott Park. And we will look at some conceptual ideas based on the feedback that we got from that Scott Park events. Also, a part of our community engagement strategy is to try to meet people where they are. And one of the ways that we're doing this is by going around to different city events and doing some pop-up engagement. So I spent Saturday along with our equity program manager, John Hennington. We were at the city booth at Juneteenth. We had a really good time, even though we did get a little wet in the afternoon. But I was able to have some really great conversations. So we had 13 more people sign up for our email list. Got about 5 more drawings from children on what they think should be in our park. 2 more comment cards from folks, and was just able to just kind of have a nice laid back conversations about parks and how to make our parks more usable. We are continuing to look for ideas of how to meet people where they are. I know that this was a big discussion at the engagement strategy session that we had with the Equity Steering Committee and PARB. I don't want this to just be, I mean, we as staff, and John and I have talked about this, we don't want this just to be at city events. We're really want to make ourselves very available. So if anyone has ideas of where we should be conducting some of this pop-up engagement, whether it's in the park themselves, whether it's at programming in the park, whether it's at the laundromat, I don't know, let me know. parkprojects@milwaukeeoregon.gov is your path to reach us at any time. Of course, you all should have my contact information. we're really, really looking for opportunities to meet people in the community. We're trying very hard to bring in new voices into the conversation. Not everyone who attended our Scott Park event filled out a survey, but between the online engagement that we did and survey that we did online after the Scott Park event, and then the ones who did fill out surveys at the Scott Park event, we know that about 26% of the people who filled out those surveys have not been involved in Milwaukie parks or Milwaukie planning before. So we think we're doing a pretty good job reaching some new folks. We got a lot of work to do in that regard. We also have just a ton of work to do to meet our equity engagement goals. And we will be conducting with our consultants a number of focus groups throughout July that they will be holding in order to help do that. And that's, I think, all I got. If you all have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Gary.
Thank you. At the Milwaukie Farmers Market that happens every Sunday, there's a community booth on the second Sunday and the fourth Sunday. Do we have brochures and information on these parks there?
We do not as of yet, no.
Please bring them. I'll be there Sunday. If you can get them to me, I'll hand them out.
What I mean to say is we do not have brochures on this project as of yet. So I did have to spend some time, spent about 2 weeks back in Flint at home, dealing with some family obligations. And then on my way back, I caught COVID and lost about a week. So everything's about a week and a half behind for me right now. And one of the things that kind of got lost was the handouts that we wanted to make for this event. But we do have some lovely boards that we shared at Juneteenth, and that is top on my list of getting more engagement materials out there.
So you're going to be getting the stuff to the community booth in the future then?
As soon as I have things for the community booth, I'll share them with the community booth. We always do have our website available. So
Milwaukie, we get hundreds of people at the community booth.
Yep. Yeah, and I actually, the reason that we did the May 1st event, it was John Hennington's idea to have the event that kind of aligned with the first farmers market of the year. And then, we sent our friend Millie the Goose on down to the Milwaukie market to invite people to come on down. And we got quite a few of them. So yeah, we recognize that that's a good way to get the word out.
Gary, that's something that we can also explore in the conversation around outreach materials for PARB, is making sure we have some, like a resource, maybe a little guide that's a handout for no matter what kind of outreach tabling that has Adam's information, park projects, PARB, etc. So Adam and I can coordinate on maybe making a smaller, more general handout.
And then Virginia, did you have a question?
I was going to say we can always hand it out outside the farmers market too, which we've done before.
Jackson.
I noticed I looked on the city's website calendar and I didn't see the events, so I thought it would just be good to put them on the city's calendar. And also the reason I was looking is because I somehow was spacing off both times that you mentioned the first event, but I got the other two events. So could you just say what the first of the three is again?
We'll be at Belfour Park Wednesday, July 20th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come on down and hang out with us in the park and have some dinner, get your face painted, get a balloon animal, and let us know what you think of the current plan and what's missing, what you like about it. Give us some ideas. And then Bowen Bray, July 26th, 6 to 8, and then Scott Park Thursday, April 4th, to be determined.
August 4th.
4th, Thursday, August.
August, not April.
Did I say April? Sorry.
April Fool's joke.
Still back in
Not-
April.
Yeah.
And for folks listening there, it is outlined in the PARB packet as well, I believe, or the email I sent out to PARB. So happy to resend that as well.
Gary, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just going to say that the community booth, we have a calendar showing events coming. So if it's not on the event calendar, it won't be noted at the community booth for people to go to those parks on those dates. So please get it on the event calendar.
The event calendar is drafted by our communications program manager. So oftentimes he can include things that aren't on the city calendar. The city online website calendar is just actually surprisingly staff adding in as we have things. So it's a little bit more, that's more volatile, but Jordan's on
Okay.
top of the community booth calendar. But we'll make sure for future once, because I know these Adam was just solidifying these dates with our consultants and team. We'll make sure that we get everything as soon as it's solidified over to the community calendar.
Thank you.
I will just note that we also will be sending out postcards. So fewer postcards than we did for that Scott Park kind of kickoff event. Thankfully, fewer postcards. For the Scott Park event, we had 22,000 postcards printed up because we wanted to hit the entire zip code. So anyone who lived in 97202 received I'm sorry, 97222. I live in 202. And we also then included some postal carrier routes that went out towards and a little bit past 205 to make sure that we included the UGMA. For this round of engagement, we are looking at a circle of about a half a mile walking distance from the park. And those will be specific postcards for each of the 3 parks. Those will be mailed out. And then we'll be using our email list that we've been building, the city calendar, as you all have mentioned, and lots of other different ways to get the word out on these things.
And just for maybe perspective, because I know that this was always eye-opening to me when I started doing outreach for the city, and Adam's coworker is meowing at him. Adam, how much did it cost to send postcards to the entire kind of the big delivery?
Man, it was about $8,500 for half-size postcards. That's printing and postage. That's the cheaper option. So we rely on, for these mailings, all the postal carriers get a postcard for each address on their route, and then we rely on them to deliver them to each door. If we were to do first class mail, which would be a little bit which would be, just plain a regular stamp, it would be much more expensive, and we could not do that type of engagement that way. But it's important for us to hit everyone that we can. And we went big in the beginning because we wanted to make a splash. We know that there's been a lot of excitement about this project since the announcement of the grants was made, back in the summer of last year, almost a year ago, I think. It was in the pilot back in August. And so there's been a lot of excitement and not a lot for people to see. And so we wanted to kind of make a splash. We also wanted to do our best to activate that park and see what the park looked like with an event in it during the farmers market, while the Friends of the Letting Library were having their book sale, getting people in the amphitheater and inviting people to come use the park so we could see the opportunities and the challenges kind of firsthand. And that's why we're going to be doing open houses again at Bowman Bray and Belfort. And it's also just kind of fun, right? Come have dinner in the park. I will say it's very important to know that Bowman Bray and Belfort obviously are undeveloped parks. They do not meet ADA accessibility. There is no on-site parking. So we're asking everyone who can walk, ride your bike. If you are going to drive, please carpool. And then if you do have mobility concerns, please contact me. You can do so directly. My phone number is 503-786-69 7624. Once again, that's 503-786-7624. Or parkprojects@milwaukeeoregon.gov. Because I also say that we will, just like with Scott Park, have a survey online that will try to mirror some of the activities that we do in the park. So if you're not able to join us in the park, or you have some concerns about getting there or getting into the park because it's undeveloped right now, there will be some online options available, and you can always call me and talk to me.
Mhm. Thanks for sharing that, Adam. I just wanted to highlight it, as some folks might wonder, like, why the city doesn't do postcards all the time for every engagement opportunity. And it's just because, they add up. And so we want to, like, Adam's using his resources wisely and looking at kind of how we want to make a splash on maybe the first one.
Yeah, we've been trying to also utilize, the pilot where we can. Some of the details on that May 1st event were still being determined when the May pilot went out. So that does go to everybody. And so we've been utilizing that. The pilot is starting to be translated, but the translated version does not get mailed out to everyone. So that was another reason why we wanted to get that postcard out to everyone and just kind of say, hey, we're out here. We're going to be on Engage Milwaukee. We're going to be on the website. Here's how to reach us. I would love to send everybody a postcard all the time, but it's too expensive.
And that translated pilot is available on the city website.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Does anybody have any questions about what we talked about with council, perhaps? Yes, Jackson.
My question is, what is UGMA, another acronym?
Oh yeah, sorry, I broke the rule. UGMA is Urban Growth Management Area. So in Oregon land use planning, all of the cities have urban growth boundaries that have to be planned out with the state. And so that is the limit of how far Milwaukee as a city could grow. Right now, we have like a very jagged sort of kind of, what's that?
Swiss cheese.
Yeah, we got a Swiss cheese looking kind of border over on the eastern side. And we have the ability right now, our urban growth boundary goes out to just about 205 82nd Avenue, I think, kind of area.
And that's areas of unincorporated Clackamas County. So when you hear unincorporated county, Washington, Multnomah, Clackamas, it's areas that don't have a municipal, a city jurisdiction, but instead they point to the county to provide that overarching kind of government rulemaking and support.
Yeah, I will say I would have loved to send something to everyone in the district, because I do recognize that, this is a district. We are working very closely with NCPRD on this project as well. We were not able to do that, but we did hear from a lot of you, and we do hear from a lot of people in the district that hey, don't forget about that UGMA area. Keep this involved. And so these parks are for everybody. We want everybody involved in this project. I met some people at Juneteenth who were saying, well, I don't live in the city. It's like, no, that's okay. Come tell us what you think. You're here at a park today, at one of our parks, at Water Tower Park, and we want you to feel comfortable coming to Bowman Bray and Belfour and Scott and Milwaukee Bay Park and everything else, right? These parks are for everybody. If you live up in Washington or anywhere else, come to our parks. You're welcome there. We want you involved in this planning process. The more people we have in our tent and at the table planning these, the better they're going to be. Hey, Gary.
I just going to say what you just said then made me think that brochure at the community booth would sure be helpful, because we get people from all the area.
Yep.
I do want to just note that we are after 6 o'clock, which is typically when PARB does cut off. So I do want to do a gut check. Adam, does there any more questions for Adam before we kind of have a conversation about agenda swapping? Okay, cool. Thank you, Adam, for that update. I'm going to stop the recording right now. And so that